Hi guys, and good evening. This is Laboratory Lynn Hyra, creator of Lemmings PSP, Amiga Classic Edition, the only music patch in existence for Lemmings PSP to put the old Amiga Classic soundtrack into your PSP game, Lemmings PSP. Now, I'm going to show you a couple videos, or not a couple videos, I'm just going to give you a short little rundown on the gameplay of my hack and how it handles and what it looks like on your Lemmings PSP ISO once you've patched it and everything's good to go. Now, thing is, this ISO, you're going to be applying a patch to your ISO. You're going to need to supply your own Lemmings PSP game for this. I'm not hosting a full Lemmings PSP game by any means because that is extremely illegal, and I am not going to be caught with the feds because of that. So, if you want this hack, you just need to take my patch off moddb.com and just apply it to your Lemmings PSP ISO at home, and it should work and it should be good to go as long as your PSP can run ISOs. You need custom firmware to do this. I run 5.00 M336, and I also have the 1.50 and the 1.0 add-on, so I can load 1.0 kernel eboots and stuff like that. Now this is actually my fat PSP. It's the only one I have, so don't be hating. And I also want to say up front that I don't have the best studio here, and so the video quality of this particular video might not be that high, but it's just basically to give you guys a representation of what it's like and what it sounds like and how my hack plays on the PSP and all that good stuff. So I've hacked this thing, like I said before. It's a PSP 1001, and it works just as good as any other PSP. So we're going to power on. We already have the memory stick with the Lemmings PSP ISO stuck in there. Loads up. There's my wallpaper, which is really awesome. It's actually what I look like.
Welcome to Lemmings PSP, Amiga Classic Edition, for dragons and humans alike, version 1.4.
Now this is what you're going to be greeted with once you patch your Lemmings PSP ISO. You'll get this screen here, and you'll hear all you'll hear my voice talking to you and all that stuff. Now you're just going to press X once you highlight Lemmings. You go into the hack here. Now at first it looks pretty much just like the normal game. Don't worry, that's just because I haven't customized a lot of the PMF videos and the ISO and stuff. As you can see, that's Sony's stuff right there. Lemmings is a trademark, blah 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 blah. And I want to tell you again, all credit for the original game goes to Sony, and for the music, all credit goes to Tim Wright and Brian Johnston. You can look them up. You know, Tim Wright has a very nice MySpace, and I've actually been able to talk to him, and he's a nice guy, so you might want to check that out. Haven't really found much about Brian Johnston though. Okay, so just don't panic. There's a reason you weren't hearing how it sound earlier, and that's because I'm using a certain plugin for my PSP that makes it 30% louder, and so it actually turns off the speakers when it's turned on all the way up. You know, you had to turn down to turn it on. It's kind of crazy. Now, the other thing you'll notice is that this is the default game music for the title screen, right? Don't worry, I haven't cheated you or anything. You just haven't. This is a glitch that nobody really knows how to fix. The PSP game seems to load this title music from somewhere, the first load on the game. But after that, once you play a level like this, so we're going to go into original and fun, just dig, you should hear the old Amiga Classic soundtrack Can Can start up, or something similar. Yeah, that's another track. Now, I'm going to eject the level a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to try again and see if it loads the Can Can music. Because I actually specifically tried to be true to the roots of the game for the Amiga. Like, I know what certain music loads on certain levels in the original version, and I've tried to be faithful to that in the PSP version and classify all my tracks to load in those types of levels so you get the same experience you had on the original Amiga computer. So let's try this again. Wow, we're just gonna load everything except what needs to play, huh? I'm sorry, that was really funny. It's like there's one lone lemming walking around and I just tell him to blow up and he's like, boop! Like, boop! And that's it. It's like, wow. Okie dokie. Seriously? Don't do this to me. I want you guys... Ah, blast it. There we go. So, therefore I proved to you guys that I have the original soundtracks geared to the original levels. You just may not always hear them on the same level. Like, the soundtrack is not geared completely the same level. Like, one track was actually programmed in the original version to play on one level only. But it's not that way in this version because the PSP ISO and Sony's programming automatically randomly seeks tracks that are in the music repository, and it'll just play one randomly. So it's kind of disappointing, but I haven't really figured out how to fix that. I will fix it if I can. As you can notice, the graphics are exactly the same as the PSP version of Lemmings. I haven't changed the graphics at all, mostly because I haven't figured out how. But when I do, I might. Okay, so as you can see, you get some new title screen music that's not the, the modern Lemmings PSP title screen music. And this is actually the old Amiga version title screen. But I actually got this one from Lemmings VS, and that's like a reincarnation of the Lemmings Amiga version of Lemmings. And it's actually playable on the Nintendo DS with a homebrew card. It's a very awesome game, you should check it out. It has some great music like here for this. Now, I'm just going to press this because I feel like it. Let me complete the level. I mean, at least one, I feel like I'm lazy or something if I go through all this to show you guys this and I don't even play the game. I'm just telling you what's cool about the game, and I'm like, I'm going to tell you everything about the game except how it plays. Come on, dig faster. Now, as you can see, the loop ended there, and I have specifically programmed it to loop the file back through the music again. As you can notice, the loop was pretty clean, but you could tell that it was looped. I'll try to get these more professional sounding in the future and try to have less gap in between loops, but it's kind of an iffy process because the PSP plays things different than when you test it on computer. Like, the load time on the PSP is a little bit longer than the computer because the PSP is not like, a 4.4 gigahertz processor computer, so yeah. Now, pretty soon you'll get used to hearing these kind of tracks play in the game. It'll almost seem natural because at one point it was. This is what we grew up with, and this is what we heard, so it makes sense to just put it back into the modern game. I hope you like what I've done. If you go down out of the menus and into the options menu, and then go down to credits, you will see this video I put in here. It's sort of a tribute to Lemmings PSP and Lemmings, the Amiga version of Lemmings at the same time. See, there's the Amiga version. You can imagine how those graphics actually complement the good music that you're hearing right now. Now, I'm not really going to waste too much time on this video because I have some screenshots of it up on moddb.com, as well as I have posted this hack at moddb.com where you guys can download it free of charge. I'm never going to charge for this because this is not my content, and it's just a little, project I started on because of my love of lemmings. So yes, I'm gonna put my PSP into hibernation mode now,